Welcome back to the truth about gangstalking. This is how to tell if you're really being gangstalked. There's a few ways you can tell. Number one is the voices. If you're hearing voices, especially if they're different voices, and they most likely are, because this is a group, but this is an entire network of thousands that do this around the world. But these are smaller groups that all have different speakers. And my group specifically is all male speakers. Most of them are young. Most of them are teenagers and people in their early 20s. But if you're hearing the voices, and especially hearing differences in their voices, you know you're being gang-stalked. You can tell. Like, I never had a mental illness. I was a social worker, so I knew a lot about psychology. And I knew as soon as I heard their voices that I was not hearing voices like a schizophrenic. These were actually real people talking to me, and they do that through microwaves and ultrasound, which can easily be done. Because ultrasound is a very specific sound scheme that can be done, and as long as it's modulated correctly, no one else around you will hear a thing, and they can point it and target you only. Even in a group of people, a group of thousands of people, they can specifically target you. But one of the other ways is they've made small skull fractures all along my forehead. You can feel them all around the tip of my hairline. They're indentations in my skull that were not there before, and this is to get a better reception so they can read your thoughts and or send thoughts into your head. They almost feel like skull fractures, but they're not skull fractures. If you had a series of skull fractures, you'd most likely be dead. So these are not skull fractures. This is almost a stretching of bone. And this took them years and years to thin my skull out so it could be manipulated like an accordion. That's exactly what it reminds me of, an accordion of skull fractures. And they've also done this with other muscles and bones. But that's one way you can definitely tell. If you can feel these ridges in your head, and I used to feel them in the back of my head, so that it can't totally injure your entire brain or you die. These guys want to keep you alive to keep torturing you. So until they kill you. So they keep you alive so they can manipulate and torture you, turn everyone you know against you, including your local police departments, doctors, and everybody, because nobody believes you are going through this, and they all think you have a mental illness and you're just hearing things. That is not the case at all. So another one is I have a almost rapid pulse rate. I've had other people say, "Why is your heart beating so fast?" And I've had girlfriends lay on my chest, and it's because my heart is being manipulated, and it's almost like they're pressing my lungs against my heart, because I can almost never feel my heart beat, and haven't been able to for almost 20 years. I can still feel a pulse in my carotid arteries, but it's a very high pulse rate, around 115 to 130. When I was heavily exercising, my pulse rate was at 60. And now I haven't exercised as hard as I used to before they started talking to me, because they won't allow me to. They cause muscle contractions and everything else in my body to prevent me from exercising at all. This is all to keep you in a highly stressed state and to keep you in a downward spiral so that you die and they are not exposed at all. And they are not prosecuted, because you would be the star witness against their team. So they're so stupid, they feel like talking to you is something smart. But it's actually the dumbest thing you can do, is you can pick their voices out. You know exactly who it is. and you can pick their voices out from 100 voices. But anyways, these guys are never that smart. But anyways, but it feels like to me like they're pressing my lungs against my heart to keep me from feeling my heartbeat. But I've had other people lay their heads on my chest, and they say, "Why is your heart beating so fast?" And like I said, my pulse rate whenever I've donated blood or gone to the doctors has been 120 to 130, which is very high. So they're obviously hurting my heart, and they're killing me as we speak. But one of the other ways is to constrict your arteries, and that's to keep from blood flowing to places that are being injured, and because that would also kill you. They're always changing everything on my body, including my knees and my elbows, my arms. They are shrinking muscle tissues, and they're doing this with radio wave ablation. And usually it's used to destroy tissues, and that's exactly what these guys are doing. They're shrinking things so they can further kill and injure you. And they do this to also keep you calm and sedated. So their victims don't freak out all day long, because if they did, they would be hospitalized in a psychiatric hospital. And that is not fun for the gang stalkers to see somebody kept strapped down in a hospital room. So they do that to keep you calm. Because you're put through high stress all day, and it's all just to wear you out and wear you down. That's why they constantly talk to you. These guys are super scared, weak individuals. They never want to be prosecuted, and they have bragged to me several times they will never face charges. Also, one other way you can tell if you're a man is my penis is moved, especially when I'm in my vehicle. It feels like it's being pushed and pulled and is flopping around, and I am not controlling that at all. That is done with their weapons, and I'm not sure what purpose it serves. I have a feeling your groin is one of the ways they put electricity into your body, and because it's safer than hitting your head, so they're either they're uploading your body with electricity from the ground level and from your groin, so they can get it to wherever your body is, or whatever place in your body they want to change and manipulate, and up to your skull, so they can change your thoughts, thinking processes, and knock you out. And that's one thing I have noticed over the course of my life, is I've been knocked out several times, just falling unconscious. I have no narcolepsy. I have no symptoms of that. This is they have the ability to put you to sleep in whatever environment they want to. And there is no way to stop and prevent that. These guys, like I said, they talk on all holidays. So that's another way to tell with the voices. But these guys also rape their victims. I've heard of several other victims being raped. No-touch torture and rape of your victims. So sometimes in the middle of the night, I will have an erection, wake up with an erection, an orgasm, and be wet all over my body, and then there's no reason for that at all. And then I'll hear the voices start talking to me again. So you know what they just did. And these guys brag about it, that they can do that to anyone at any time. But one of the other ways you can tell is if you have lost feeling over any or all of your body. I can barely feel any skin or hair contact at all. I can feel almost nothing on my face and or skull. They deaden the nerves, or they are doing something to your nervous system to take control of it, and also to deaden anything, so you're not constantly complaining about being in pain. They have also done something to my brain and central nervous system, so I don't feel any anti-anxiety medication I have taken, such as Xanax, Valium, muscle relaxers. I feel, and even alcohol. No matter how much of that I have taken, and I've taken a lot sometimes because I'm highly stressed, and they put you in these stressful situations, and I have felt none of it at all. Like most people can feel just a little bit of Xanax at 0.25 milligram, especially half milligram. I've taken up to 4 milligrams and not felt one thing. But they've also taken my sense of smell and taste completely. That's another way. If you can't smell your surroundings, or even cooking food, your sense of smell is gone. Same thing with the sense of taste. If you're eating food and you can't even taste it, that's another dead giveaway. But I'm under constant anxiety and stress, and my ability to concentrate or pay attention to anything is severely limited. Most people can read a book. I used to read books all the time. I can't even read one page of a book or magazine now, because these guys will start talking to me and saying mean things, and there's just no ability to concentrate at all. Where before I knew I was able to read a whole book like in a couple days before they started talking to me. But these guys also have done several break-ins of my house and homes. They've stolen little things, and they've stolen big things, and they've also left a bunch of cords and wires behind that were not mine, to hack all of my computers and all of my electric equipment, including cell phones. They've all been hacked so they can be monitored remotely and or destroyed so I can't use them. One of the things I would say is if you are being gangstalked, definitely write down what these guys are saying to you, because it's going to be specific to every group. That's going to be one of the only ways they can be prosecuted, if you're able to be able to tell who these guys are and or what they're saying to you, because it's going to be specific to every group. But one other thing, they have broken and fractured many of my teeth. My teeth are actually really bad because they have broken and fractured a lot of them with their tools. They're able to fracture and break your jaw, including stretching and thinning any bones and or muscles. I also had 3 psychiatric hospitalizations where I had contact with the police or my parents, and they thought I needed to see a psychiatrist because I was delusional. I wish this was delusional. I wish I could take medication and this would go away. This is a real thing that happens to people. It happens to a lot of people. And some psychiatrists are aware of it. Some doctors are aware of it and have also been gangstalking victims themselves. So they are aware of it. But yeah, they can also prevent crying. There's been several times I felt like crying, and that I'm not able to in any way at all. And that's one reason these guys don't want to see anybody crying, because they would start to feel bad for you. Because who wants to see anybody cry? I feel like crying almost every day, because there's nothing I can do to get away from these idiots. And these are very, very stupid people. But one of the other things you can tell is that their voices are actually emanating from, during the summer and winter, from the heating vents and duct work. Seems like most metallic things they seem to emanate from, their voices seem to emanate from, for some reason. It has to do with magnetic electromagnetism, because they seem to need that, like, to make a speaker in a way, because there's magnets on every speaker. Has a huge magnet, unless it's a smaller speaker, and it has a smaller magnet. But any conductive metal, especially copper, even piping for water, they emanate from that also, and especially any electrical motor. or any motor. So those are a few ways to tell, and I hope you found that helpful, and I have more videos coming up. Thanks for tuning in.